Red Bull has a problem that no one wants to admit. Now, before you guys want to kill me and report my video like Red Bull's employee did with Christian Horner, hear me out. Obviously, we can talk for a full video about Max's domination, how boring it is, and why the season can be cancelled. But I won't let this video become something like the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, don't worry. The thing is, the season is not boring, but predictable, as I feel that Max Verstappen will win again and we will have to listen to the Dutch national anthem for at least 20 more times. That's gonna feel like a life sentence in prison. Hereby I sentence you to life in prison to listen to the Dutch national anthem without parole. Even though Max had a DNF during the Australian Grand Prix, he still is a super good driver, as well as Hamilton was back in the days, when there wasn't a budget cap yet and Max just got out of the diapers. Just kidding. No matter how good you are doing in F1, no one should hate on you, unless you're Lance Stroll. Now, why does Red Bull have a big problem? It's not that they won't win the championship this year again, because I fully believe they will. It was a pretty easy win for Sainz last weekend. The race started, he waited for Red Bull to choke, and then he took the win.
Strategy. Francesco needs no strategy. It's very simple. You start the race, wait for Lightning McQueen to choke, pass him, then win. Francesco always wins.
It's not hard to come to the conclusion that Max will be dominant throughout the whole season again. No hard math calculations were needed. I'm not even good at those anyhow, as I failed miserably in high school. But only looking at the previous year's performance, plus the other teams right now, plus the new RB20 car equals, yeah. The answer to that is crystal clear. The future therefore is predicted. It also shows in my crystal ball. Come back to this video when the season is over and the winner is known. But this is where the problem comes from. They've been so predictable ever since mid-2023 that you have to be super ignorant, blind and deaf to not see what is coming this season. But bro, if Max is doing so super good, why does Red Bull have a problem? Well, even though Max's performance might seem predictable, all other things at Red Bull are not. Despite the fact we're early in the season, there is a Red Bull seat up for grabs at the end of the year. No, not Max's, lol, but with the expiring contract of Sergio Perez. Red Bull Racing has a lot of work to do thinking about what its driver lineup will look like next year. It seems to be a luxury to have so many drivers to choose from, but to find a driver willing to be the second driver next to Max is a challenge. Perez is not doing super badly, but also not super good. He knows that this is the last year he can work his magic and show what he's got to secure his own future. As we know Checo's current position at Red Bull, let's look at some other fierce competitors that are eyeing on the Red Bulls. Who may that be, you ask? One second, let me go back to my crystal ball. Ah, yes, it is very clear. Oh damn, yes, there it is. The first thing that presented itself in my crystal ball is Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki, where the are you?
Can I help you?
One ice cream.
Where are you?
I'm here. One ice cream, please.
Oh yes. Land one ice cream.
God, it's broken! It's broken!
I'm coming. Let me try.
I am stupid.
Oh, I get it. You were getting an ice cream from Leclerc's new ice cream shop. It seems Lando isn't convinced by Charles' ice cream skills just yet. As we let Yuki enjoy his ice cream, can this tiny youngster be the famous replacement for our Mexican amigo? His start to the Formula 1 season has been nothing short of a rollercoaster ride, filled with highs that have fans on their feet and moments that have us facepalming. The young Japanese driver has zipped past his teammate, Daniel Ricciardo, so far this year. Yuki's first 3 races of 2024 have painted a picture of a driver who's not just quick on the track, but also quick to let emotions fly, and sometimes a tad too close to the edge. His finish to 14th in Bahrain wasn't without drama, narrowly avoiding a tiff with Ricciardo during their cool-down lap, a moment that Ricciardo brushed off with a "that's Yuki" and a shrug, pointing to Tsunoda's fiery spirit. We all know what really went down in Daniel's head. But let's not forget the Australian Grand Prix. Tsunoda turned heads here, and his timelines with a qualifying performance that secured him a spot in the top 10, leaving Ricciardo in the shadows at his home race. This isn't just a story of Tsunoda's raw talent that catapulted him from Japanese F4 to the F1 grid. It's a tale of a diamond in the rough, still needing a bit of polishing. Tsunoda, who debuted with AlphaTauri in 2021, has shown glimpses of brilliance, but also moments of greenness. Despite scoring points on his first outing, his maiden season was a steep learning curve, dominated by his teammate in the qualifying head-to-head. It is crystal clear Yuki is looking to put himself on Red Bull's radar by performing well in 2024. Helmut Marko shared that he is being noticed, but he would need to prove he's not a fleeting talent, or a fleeting sexting scandal like Christian Horner. To describe Tsunoda, Helmut said, "One swallow does not make a summer," but beating Ricciardo might just be the ticket Tsunoda needs to show he's ready for the big leagues. Crystal ball, who is the most suitable driver for Red Bull of them all?
There is a driver that just lost his own seat to an underperforming hammering driver. But now, after the Australian GP, he is hot. Everyone is most impressed by him. Would he be considered for a Red Bull seat?
Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz. It was a shock when Ferrari dumped him. His career trajectory is starting to look like a game of musical chairs, but with F1 seats. After Ferrari decided to play swap the driver with Lewis Hamilton for 2025, it's as if Sainz got an unexpected push towards what could be the most coveted seat in F1. Here's where it gets juicy. With Sainz suddenly being the belle of the ball and Christian Horner not subtly hinting at rolling out the red carpet for him, rumors are all over the place. If Perez doesn't show his worth by the end of the season, would Sainz be the chosen one to replace him?
Look at me, I'll make up like now.
Verstappen Sainz is the ideal combination, but the internal conflict at Red Bull Racing still hangs over the team. There's now talk of a ceasefire, but peace has not been signed. But this is why it might work. First of all, Sainz is already familiar with the Red Bull family. He has a great relationship with Max and is arguably the fastest driver with an expiring contract. The question still remains though, would Sainz want to join Red Bull? He'd be entering a team that is a finely honed machine with Verstappen, and unless he was convincingly faster, he'd find it hard to shift that and to be anything other than second fiddle. So effectively, he'd be accepting the number 2 role. Would he want that? Don't see any evidence. Of course, if Verstappen moves on, that is different. He might be much better off at Mercedes, where Russell is not solidly in control, or being at the start of something at Audi. Either might or might not work out, but I strongly doubt Red Bull would. From a spectator viewpoint, it would be good, because the comparison of Sainz to Verstappen would by extrapolation also compare Verstappen to Leclerc. There's already some Leclerc-Vettel comparison, and Vettel-Alonso, albeit both old, but that allows a better comparison of drivers across teams. Where do you think Sainz will go in the 2025 season? Even though it seemed like it, Ricciardo is not the athlete that he used to be. Some of you might still believe that Ricciardo will make the cut.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Helmut Marko isn't excluding Ricciardo from joining Red Bull in 2025 completely, as we are still at the very start of the season. But what can Ricciardo still change to perform better? The car sucks, his mentality sucks, Visa Cash App RB is already done with him. He went from a driver that everyone wanted to a driver that no one wants anymore. History is doomed to repeat itself for Ricciardo. For the second time in as many teams, the 8-time F1 race winner finds himself struggling to match a less experienced teammate. With hopes of reclaiming his previously discarded seat at Red Bull, is the Australian now closer to losing his seat at RB? First he was replaced at McLaren by fellow Aussie Oscar Piastri. Now it's Liam Lawson knocking on the side of his RB's cockpit. Young blood from the same region hoping to shuffle out the battle-hardened veteran. Not that Ricciardo's nationality has any bearing on their F1 aspirations. Damning statistics like the fact Ricciardo has a worse average qualifying delta to Yuki Tsunoda over the first 3 rounds of the F1 season. Compared with Nick de Vries at the same point last year, this will do nothing to disavow the growing feeling he's racing on borrowed time. After Ricciardo left Red Bull for the first time, it all seemed to go downhill. If his stints at McLaren and now Red Bull show anything, it's that sometimes you become the very thing you swore to defeat, or actually did in Ricciardo's case. To be honest, it's hard to believe Daniel will have a chance on the Red Bull seat in 2025, especially as there are more drivers without a seat that are performing way better than he does. As predictable as the performance of the Red Bulls are, it's clearly not the case that there will be a driver swap. Crystal ball, who else is rethinking his future within Formula 1?
There are some rumors coming from the F1 insider that Fernando Alonso is the top pick for Horner.
They're usually all about nurturing young talent, but Horner seems ready to shake things up. It's like he suddenly decided that experience is the new black. The man who's raced more Grand Prix than years I'm watching F1 is just like 12 other drivers, out of contract by the end of 2024. For Horner, this isn't just about filling a seat, it's personal. He's been wanting to bring Alonso over since 2013, but Marko and co were having none of it, sticking to their guns with the young driver philosophy. Fast forward to now, and it looks like Horner might be finally getting his wish, proving once and for all that he's not just riding on the coattails of his Dutch wonderkid. So, looking at all the possibilities for the Red Bull seat in 2025, who do you think will get it? Let me know in the comments.